when I was coming into this, I'm just like, you're the best interviewer ever. Because you always ask, I don't know, I feel everyone feels comfortable and you always ask like unique questions. Like, I love you.
Okay, we have to turn this off now. Too much.
Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, Sad, Confused begins now.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. I'm Josh Horowitz. Thanks for watching, listening, however you're doing it. I appreciate you. I know my guest, Elle Fanning, appreciates you. Don't you, Elle?
Very much so. I'm a subscriber.
She's the real deal. This is big. We're about to dive into everything. We're going to talk the great all the way back to the beginnings and we're going to talk, somewhere Super 8. I do want to remind the audience, for those of you in the New York area, I know you would be at this front and center. You're a big John Cena fan. We know this.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
When I think John Cena, I think Elle Fanning.
100%.
But it is going to be a fun night. May 15th in New York City. If you're in the area, check it out. A Happy, Sad, Confused live with the one and only John Cena.
I'll be there. No,
she'll be there. She'll be in disguise. She's going to play it cool.
Yeah, totally.
Elle, this has been a long time coming. Welcome officially to the podcast.
I know. Seriously, thank you. We've been trying to make this work for me to come on, and we DM, and we go way back.
Okay, so
but I think you go way back with everyone. Like you're always,
I've stuck around for a while,
Yeah.
but you are unique, Elle. I will say
Am
this.
I?
Well, you definitely are, because your ascent really dovetails with when I started doing what I did. So I sent Elle recently a blast from the past, and I remember this. I don't expect you to, because you were like -3 at the time, but my first Sundance was 2007, and it was right when I started to do interviews for MTV. So you couldn't have been any earlier with me, to be honest. And I remember vividly interviewing this like preternaturally gifted, strange alien.
Definitely alien. Yeah. Oh my God. So that was our first interview together ever.
That video is so amazing because it's
Yeah.
literally the first time I'm meeting you, Melissa McCarthy,
I know.
Ryan Reynolds.
Also, like Melissa McCarthy, okay, this interview, because I was there for the Nines,
Right.
which was like this Sundance film. And what is so also crazy to me is like, why did they allow like me, like this little kid, to like be interviewed? They paired me and Melissa up, like this mega star, and like she's having to deal with this little kid who's like trying to grab the microphone and like talk. I was also
Wait,
like,
I have the photo. Let's look at the photo
Oh my
together.
God.
Just because.
I think I'm like how old? I probably was like 7 or 8.
You would have been 8. I did the
8.
math.
Okay, cool.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How adorable. This is, for those listening, I apologize, but suffice it to say, amazing.
Oh my God. I'm going to be better today in this interview than I definitely was then.
That's a high bar, Elle. I don't know.
I also talked about how I did sign language, like,
Right.
but also that was my
You
answer
kept going
to
back to it. I know.
kept going
I felt
back to
bad.
it. I was like, I learned early. I was like, this is my in. I'm going to say like, I did sign language. I kept going back.
No, but that's actually, like, as you well know, that's kind of what they tell folks to do, is like, don't necessarily answer the question. Just say what you want to say.
What you want to say. True.
So
And
you learned it early.
I wasn't media trained or anything. Like I
Right.
never went through the ropes of that. But obviously, like with Dakota, I'd learned from seeing her
Right.
like do the interviews and stuff. But still, I don't know. I was a creature of my own existence, I think.
I think it's really unique because, and so anyway, I think it's so exciting because like we've literally known each other. I mean, not well, but in recent
We always
years.
see each other, yeah. And you're just getting famous and famous. Your head's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Literally bigger, sadly. But 17 years to know a human being and like track them through their life and career is such like, I mean, it's a real privilege. It's really cool.
Oh, man.
But when you look back at like interviews like that and the early roles, like you must have this like, I don't know, like is your perception of those early films or interviews like through the video, like through the stuff you watch back, or your own memories? It must get a little muddy of like what you remember versus what you're seeing.
Yes. I mean, it is kind of nice because you have like a touchstone, because maybe I would probably have like blurred memories of that, but because I have interviews or photos, it does take me back to a time. I mean, I don't remember. I just remember fragments, I guess. But the funny thing about that Sundance trip, I was so excited to see the movie, right?
Sure.
Like I kept saying that. It's very cringy watching it, I have to say. Like I was so like, oh no. But I got altitude sickness that night, and I didn't get to go. and I got so sick. And so that was like my one, that press day was like the thing I did. And then I was sick and I didn't get to experience that. So I remember that. And yeah, the movie experience, I remember Melissa, like I loved Melissa. And I felt also I can tell in that clip, I'm like, oh, I felt so comfortable to kind of be a little cheeky with her because we were really close on set. And, and she's still, I mean, that's also the really neat thing about being a child actor, because when people are very nice, which I've worked with a lot of nice people, they do stay in your life, or like, you know, it's not like I'm going to her house and hanging out with her, but at events, like, she will try to seek me out, or, you know, and this happens with a lot of different people, but there is that connection there because they knew you when you were a kid. It's just a special thing.
There must also be like this phenomenon where like you worked with so many amazing filmmakers and actors so early on, whether it's like, you know, it's Fincher, Cate Blanchett, et cetera. It's like you must now want to like, it would be such a different experience now for you.
I do feel that way. I do. I know, because when I think about it, I mean, I've worked with some of the greatest directors of all time. Like I've been but you know, a lot when I was really small.
Right.
Like, yeah, David Fincher, I was 7 when I did that. And I would love to, like, all right, let's come back around,
Remember
you
me?
know?
I'm a
Yeah,
little
like
taller, but the
Alejandro and
same.
Yuritu.
Yeah.
Like I did Babel, but I was a kid. So, and you are absorbing. So I think now I can feel that, oh, that was very important, that my impression and of film sets from an early age were basically the top of the top in that sense. So I knew the vibe and of how to act and how to kind of morph yourself or be able to, you know, because each director calls for a different thing and they work very differently. And I was very malleable as a kid to, judging their behavior. And that's helped me so much now.
Is that still exciting for you? Because there are certain, like, you know, actors that like to kind of like give themselves over to a director and kind of like, okay, I'm going to be a collaborator, but I want the Fincher experience. I want the Sofia experience. And like that, they get off on that. And there are other actors that like, they do their very particular way of thing and they're less malleable. And I guess maybe there's a happy medium in between, because as you proceed in your career, you know the things that you like, that you know the things you respond to, you know the environments that work for you.
That's true. I think I'm learning. I don't know. I mean, because I'm also like in the like a producing area now, or exploring that a little bit. So there is part of me that does not want to give myself over entirely. Like I give myself over entirely to the experience. I'm like, I'm on the ride, and like I do want the full, you know, I want the Sofia experience, and I know what that is going into it. And it's like, you would be robbed if you tried to like ostracize yourself from that. Like, so, but then at the same time, I think that I know there are things that I personally have to do, which is normally after work at night, like in a random, you know, hotel room or wherever you're staying, that like I have to do for myself in order for it to work, that the director doesn't even really know about.
Yes.
And then I'm like, if I have that homework done in a way, then I can totally give myself over.
So can you pull back the curtain a little bit on what that is?
I know. And it's,
what is
people
that?
ask me, I mean, it's all like, it's all very much in my head. Like it's very imagination based and very, I've never, you know, I know people do like dream stuff and things. I've never done that, you know.
You're not doing like animal work in your room. No. You're not doing mask work. You're not doing.
No, I'm not.
Time for the hour-long peyote trip where I.
Yeah, I don't do that. Okay. But there are things like it might spur. You're like, oh, well, maybe they should move in a cat-like way, but like I'm not practicing it. I don't know, but yeah, it's very imaginative. Like, I also think, I mean, you have to, I mean, it's so basic, but like knowing your lines it's like so.
That's the starting point. Unless you have that, and then especially what you're doing now with the great.
Yeah, God, that is like, you have to. You have
the volume,
and there are
the
some
specificity.
There are some days when you don't know them like well enough. God, you feel it, and you're like, oh. But I'm also like a procrastinator, so I'm. Hugely. I always was in school. Like I wait till the last minute. But because I'm always thinking about it, but the doing of something, I'm like, I know that my body needs to
feel the stress of the
feel the
feel
stress.
Same way. I'm the same way with prep. Like I over prep, but like the actual real work won't happen until the last 48
and
hours.
I'm like that on it's like I memorize my lines basically the night before, unless there's like huge monologues. I'll be like, okay, I'll do it like 3 days before. But I also really feel like with a character, I mean, which is, you don't always get the luxury of this because sometimes it does happen where you do like the biggest scene first, but I do like to get my toes wet a little bit and like nothing is in place yet until you're on set doing the first scene. And like you do have to warm up. Like you have to warm up a little bit. And like I would love to do, just a scene where I just walk down the hallway first. Like that would be really nice. It never happens. But, it did for Neon Demon because we filmed chronologically. He films chronologically, which is cool. Yes.
God, that guy.
Yeah. So that was
worked
interesting.
with some characters.
I have. I mean, I do. I know. I love him. I do love him.
too. I mean, and by the way, a great interview. He's been on the podcast.
Oh,
man,
has
that guy's
he?
a madman.
Oh,
I mean, in the best possible way.
Yeah. He's totally a character, which I think it's funny because he's like a dad of two girls, and he's very normal.
There was a doc about, was it the making of Neon Demon?
Yeah,
or one of
Liv
them?
made it. His wife.
That was fascinating.
It wasn't of Neon Demon. It was of Drive, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was great.
This episode of Happy Sad Confused is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let me ask you guys something and think about this for a second. How much time do you spend in a given week on yourself versus how much you spend on other people? And that's okay. Look, we all want to take care of those around us. I feel like that too. Close friends, close family, mother, sister, wife. I want to take care of all of them, but we have to find time for ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of anybody else. That's where something like BetterHelp comes into play, because therapy can help. It's true. It helped me in the past. It has helped so many friends and family, and it's okay to ask for help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/HSC today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/HSC. I don't know if you guys are aware of what Masterclass is, but let me shine a light on something that I'm so thrilled is now a sponsor of Happy Sad Confused. I have long been a fan and user of Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. And when I say the world's best minds, this is not hyperbole. How about this? Okay, you know I am a movie buff. How about learning from Martin Scorsese about filmmaking? From Aaron Sorkin about screenwriting? Helen Mirren, Sam Jackson? They have some things to say about acting, and you can learn from them anytime, at your own pace. It's all there for you. This resource is remarkable. I could not recommend Masterclass enough. There are over 180 classes on a range of subjects, everything: cooking, training your dog, building your brand, writing, anything, the arts, sports, any interest you can imagine. Masterclass is there for you. I highly recommend you check it out. Get unlimited access to every class, and as a Happy Sad Confused listener, you can get up to 35% off for Mother's Day. Go to masterclass.com/HSC now. That's masterclass.com/HSC to get up to 35% off for Mother's Day.
I'm curious, you mentioned the producing career. We're jumping all around, but you know my work, that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm curious, like, again, having started so young, and look, this is a business that doesn't necessarily encourage young people, let alone young women, to have a voice.
Yeah.
Do you remember like a transitional point where you felt like, I feel like I am entitled and should have a voice on set, and it's okay for me to say how I feel that things should go?
I think that, I feel like it happened with, I started to step into that role more with the first season of The Great. I mean, I did produce like a Netflix little like film, like All the Bright Places it was called, and that was like very like a book, and and it was, I was producing on it, but I was still like learning, and I would get dailies and cuts and edits, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of, I have to learn to also adapt to that, to like watching yourself at night, which I'm okay with because I'm like a ham, and I think it's from like child acting. I'm like, I think I can separate, but it doesn't bother me.
That's key, as you know. For many actors, that's the definition of torture.
Yes, but I think on The Great, I like started to also learn to like put my foot down about things, and it wasn't about writing, or it's just in general. I think also because directors, I mean, of course they very much matter on TV, but the writer, Tony, is the big boss in that sense. So there was also us actors, we know more about our characters than the directors do coming in
1,000%.
on TV shows.
Yeah.
And that was a big adjustment for me, because it like
so
threw me for a loop.
Driven on film.
Yes.
And,
and also they're like kind of, I mean, they're coming in like kind of like revolving doors, like
no, I know,
new people, and like, I'm like, oh no, but I just got used to you, and now I'm having to. So that was a real adjustment. But then I think that kind of being not upset, but like the adjustment being annoying for me, I learned, okay, no, you need to just take matters into your own hands and tell them, like, no, the camera doesn't need to be there, like, and also be like, you haven't gotten that shot, why? And so I got really vocal. Through that experience, and I'm really like not afraid to show that side, and I feel very comfortable there now, I will say. I don't know if there was like I have a story, if it's like women in the industry and how it's you have to learn to assert yourself, and you also, there's like an ageism thing too.
No, again, that's a
sure.
double whammy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm 25, which I also have to stop saying, it is young, but I think I also refer to myself, even in interviews still, I'm like, but me being young, I say that.
Well,
and I'm like, no, I'm actually not.
And there's the next layer with someone very specific for someone like you is like, you're stuck in a lot of people's mind's eye as, yes, you're obviously 25, but you are kind of 12 forever in some way.
In some ways, yes. And I feel like I still refer to myself as saying, oh, I'm, but I'm young, so I don't really know. And I think it's the politeness in me too, of also how I was raised, which, Southern and respecting your elders, and like, which I firmly believe in. But then also knowing that I've been acting since I was 2. So I've been on a lot of film sets, and I do know what I'm talking about.
No, you have more experience than 90% of the people on that set, to be honest. Like, you've been on more film sets.
Right. I have to remind myself of that. And I think I've gotten more comfortable now, like checking myself a little bit. Be like, don't do that.
All right, so let's talk. So the reason, the fun reason we get to reunite today is, of course, the new season of The Great, which is still, talk about the writing in this, the acting in this. It's just so delicious.
Thank you.
I watched the first couple episodes of the new season.
Oh, cool,
It's
good.
great to get back with these disgusting, horrible people.
I know.
And talk to me about, like, when you signed on for this.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a lot of trepidation there? Because there are a bunch of like things that were new about this.
Mm-hmm.
The comedy, the specificity of what you were doing. We were just talking about that. The idea of being committed to something long term.
Yeah.
Were these all red flags or all exciting things to kind of reckon with?
It was also, I was 20, I think, when I got the script, which was a movie script.
Right.
So it was supposed to be a movie that I think Tony showed to Yorgos for him to get the favorite job.
Right.
He showed
so
the
favorite hadn't even come out yet.
No, the favorite hadn't come out yet. It was filmed.
Got it.
But when I got the script, it was a play in Australia that he put on, The Great, and then he wrote a movie for it. And he thought of me, like that was Tony. He came to me, so there was no like auditioning or which was really a relief.
Get past that horrible.
Yes.
I know you're not a fan of that, right?
Not a fan, and so. And TV also, that was when it was really like TV was like hot, and like, I don't know, like, well, also like Emma Stone had done TV.
Right.
And like,
all bets
like,
are off.
Like Kate Winslet's doing TV. That was a little later, but it was just like, it wasn't so, oh, you're doing TV. It wasn't like that. So it was really exciting. And I read the script, which was like, unbelievable. But I didn't have anything to compare it to tonally. But it was I could see it, like how I could, that
Well,
humor
kind of
is my
writing must
humor.
jump off the page and be, it's
Yeah,
better
I'm
again.
spoiled. Like now I'm like with scripts, I'm like, I can see the difference. I can tell. But I guess the trepidation is always that you're going to lose something, because it does take like 7 months to do.
Yeah.
You know, and the second season actually took 9 months. But I think, so that definitely, you know, was something that we all talked about, because they were just telling me, because they know how I get, because I'm like hungry. Like they're like, you're going to hear about stuff, and like, are you going to be okay that you're not in that, you know?
Right.
And of course I was like, okay, I'll think about it. But I knew this was so special. Like I couldn't dare let anyone else do this.
Yeah.
And also to form the relationship with Tony and knowing him was like, that's the most important as well, you know? The character of Catherine, even though in the first season, you know, and it was just a movie script, the pilot, like I didn't know where it was going to go.
Right.
But I also could see, which I love, like messing people's view of me up, because she comes in as this innocent, very romantic, like what people think of me as. And then I could see the potential to like turn it on its head.
Well, it subverts every expectation for something like this, right? Like you look at just like a still from it, you're like, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's anywhere like hung up on like, oh, I'm, you know, the costume drama thing is a little stuffy. This is like the most biting, funny, smart dialogue you're gonna find on TV.
I think so.
It must be delicious. And I also love, speaking of like actors that I've like come along the ride with, Nick Hoult.
Oh. I mean, he's we talk often. We're like, can we please be like the, you know, Hepburn Grant? Like, can we like
keep this going.
like, can we just work together all the time?
His comedic timing, his dryness, the way it's perfect. So what have you had worked with him a little bit prior?
Yes.
So what, by now, having known him for a while, like on season 3, is there anything new to know about Nick Hoult or the way he works, or is all the mystery gone?
I feel like I know everything. We're very close. I feel like, I mean, yeah, I definitely know a lot by this point. But that has helped us. I mean, you know, because people also ask about, because people love the word chemistry, you know, they love that word. But it is true. Like, chemistry is a thing. And I do, like, we definitely have it in that, like, doing our scenes together, it's like we're reading each other's minds. And we're also so not afraid to tell each other, like, that was bad. Like,
yes, that's valuable. To trust somebody and feel like you can say it without hurting someone's feelings.
We can see in the middle of takes, like I'm like, oh, I can see it in his eyes, and he can see it in my eyes, and we know exactly. But I am curious, like what other people would say about if chemistry is needed, because I actually don't know if in my heart of hearts of like acting in the world, I don't think it's needed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a participant.
But then it does add
I've heard enough
something.
stories. It can only help.
Yes.
But it's not necessary. I would
agree.
say, right?
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you guys talk? I mean, there's a lot of downtime. Like when he's up for Batman, are you like, you got to get this, man?
We talk. So I know, because I know he's talked about these things.
Yeah. Because I was torn at the time. I was like, oh my God, Nick as Batman would be amazing. Then like Pattinson's another one I've known for 1,000 years. Like, amazing. But
I know. Well, I always gave Nick a lot of, I was like, you just don't have the jaw for it.
Oh, rude. Again, friends can say that.
Friends can say that.
Just a little more chiseled, it would have worked.
No, I'm like, I want Nick to get everything.
Of course.
I think the Mission Impossible thing I was very sad about.
I know. And that was just a timing thing.
Yeah,
right?
that was a great timing thing. But then I think, which was probably good, but it went to someone much older.
Yeah, it did.
So it wasn't like, that was nice.
Yes.
But he was training for that while filming season 1,
right?
Maybe. But, and he was eating all this like boiled chicken and like, and like
got all good next to TC.
Yeah, like waking up at like 3 a.m. and, working with Tom, like, it was very exciting. And I know, we talk about that. Like, we know how that stuff feels. It doesn't feel good.
Does it? Yeah, I was going to say, like, look, the
but
nature
also
of this.
He's on the grade, and he knows.
He's doing great. I literally watched Renfield.
And now he's
going to
be in a Clint Eastwood movie.
I know.
my God, my mom is very excited about this because she loves like jury, like courtroom dramas.
Where did those go? I'm ready.
I know,
Bring
I'm
it
ready
back.
too. Yeah, me too.
So, I mean, you bring up a topic that, comes part and parcel with any acting career, unless you're like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Rejection. And like, you've had to deal with that your entire life.
I know.
And it never ends. I mean, not spoiler alert, it never ends, Elle.
No.
So have you gotten better at kind of
Yes.
navigating, like when you really love a part and you're excited about it and you think you're the one, and for 1,000 different reasons it just doesn't happen.
I know.
How do you let go? How do you move on?
That is the one thing that I have to work on.
Yeah. This is a project.
Yeah, and I knew you were, when I was coming on here, I was like, oh, I had enough time because I was thinking about projects that like, if there's anything that I like have lost that I
Because
really wanted.
I'm the kind of guy that's going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, because I watched I'm a subscriber.
Well,
Yeah, but I'm trying to think,
Dune,
actually.
Dune Part 2.
Okay, well, yeah, Dune, I didn't even get to, I wasn't up for it at all
Okay, so
because
that
of
feels
the great.
better. Okay.
But it feels better because there was no
one
rejection.
rejected. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which that's like nice, but it was a scheduling thing again. And hey, I might have not gotten it,
Right.
but it was like, because I also seek things out. Like I'm like, and
You're
I know
plugged in.
things. They can't hide anything from me. Like my agents and stuff. They try to keep things secret or don't tell me about projects.
Yeah.
They know that I'll get.
Yeah, when a cool director's out there with a new project, you're like, hey.
But then I'm also so like, I'm, very. It's not from jealousy, but it like everyone I think deserves
of
their
course
own place.
yeah.
But I think it's the experience that I get excited about, or because I'm very few like I think about how the experience would be, and I like
Yes.
paint the picture of what it would be in my mind way before. I mean, this is like, way before I've even, once they say what the project is, I'm like, oh, and I'll be working with him, and then we'll be doing
Right.
this. And I'm that person. And so I just get sad about not being able to work with the director or like have that.
Is there an
Connection.
example you can think of like almost like a collaboration or like
know.
meeting with someone that at least you had that experience? Like, I mean, I think of
Yes.
someone like Baz Luhrmann who
Yeah.
like puts the actors through the paces, and you almost like have this
Yes.
relationship over months of auditions.
Yes.
And at least
Well,
you
there
have
was
that.
two. There was two actually. So, Joe Wright and I were supposed to do the Little Mermaid.
Oh, and he was attached to
Yes,
it.
he was
Okay.
before Sophia.
I forgot about that's right. Of course, yes.
And it was
yes.
like with working title, and it was going to be the first now there, I mean, obviously Little Mermaid's coming out, but it was going to be the like she turns into foam version. Very dark, very
wow.
musical, or the theatrical like
Yeah.
he does, and cuz his family or his dad did the puppets and stuff, and so it was kind of in that vein, and I won that part. He made me sing my audition, and I don't even know if it was a musical. Maybe, no, it probably was because she sings. That's a big thing. It was, but it wasn't a song, like the lines. So
Yeah.
I went in and I read the lines and did the scene, but then he said, threw this at me in the room. Now I want you to sing all the lines when we read the scene. And I was
All right.
okay. And so I did. And then he gave it to me in the room.
Oh, that's a moment.
Which was, but that was also very exciting because it was like, we're going to do it. And
Yeah.
then, it didn't work out because I think the budget was going to be like astronomical because it was the first time they were going to film underwater.
Right.
Like, and he had this whole plan of how it was going to be. And, they didn't even, what was it, like Pirates? I think Cara Delevingne did like mermaid work.
Sounds
Or no,
like
he did Peter Pan.
He did the pan. Yeah. With
Then
the
he
Hugh
ended
Jackman
up
and- yeah.
using that technology on Pan
Yep.
with the mermaids, but
Yep.
it was like a whole thing. And so but then it just fell apart. And so you're like, oh, well, that's done,
Yeah.
But then you also feel like, well, Joe knows me now.
Yeah, you have that experience, and it's a long
Yeah,
career. You're
yeah,
just,
exactly. And Jim Mangold with Patty Hearst.
that one fell apart right at the last second, didn't
Yes,
it? That was a rights
it
thing
did.
or something. Or
It was also, which I've actually talked to Jim since, which we're like, you know what?
Could come back around.
Well, it could come back around, but I don't think Jim feels like he should be the one to tell that woman's story.
Got it. Fair enough.
And we're like, yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah.
Even though at the time, it was also like Me Too had just happened.
Yep.
And so not that Me Too destroyed the project, but it was just like everyone was learning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's not right. But
Yeah.
I was younger too. And so of course it stung because
Yeah.
you want to work with him.
No,
and-
that's a juicy story and a hell of a filmmaker.
Yeah. So
But
there,
again-
I gave you some.
No, it's okay.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if I've learned anything, there's always a catch, right? So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and actually using their service, it all makes sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and they pass the sweet savings directly to you. I know this from experience, guys. The service is super high quality, amazing, and the price can't be beat. So for anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/HSC. That's mintmobile.com/HSC. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com.
Okay, how about this?
Yes.
Off of the Super 8 experience.
Yeah.
Did you ever have like a Star Wars meeting with JJ? Did that not come around?
Never. No.
Rude of
I know,
JJ. Wow.
JJ. And JJ and I are we are very close.
Yeah.
But I always suspected, I'm trying to remember. I always suspected that he just knew. I don't think I was old enough.
Right.
She was old. She's older than me. And for that time, I was probably, and I think people kind of viewed me still like young. I was 12 when I did Super 8. I was the youngest of the group.
I had forgotten that. That blew me away when I did the math. on
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Yeah. And I think also, I don't know, blonde hair can, I don't know, the sunny disposition. I think it
okay.
works. I don't know if physicality, I don't know.
Is there like you've done like big films and the Maleficent films is you kind of had your kind of franchise kind of thing going.
Yes.
Is there like a pressure or a sense for any young actor now like I do need to have that? You have that in The Great that it goes and it may presumably it'll hopefully go for a couple more years if you even want it.
Yeah.
But like that you need kind of like that to be entrenched in Marvel or DC or Star Wars or you're not relevant.
I don't feel that way.
Well, that's good.
I don't. I do feel, it does something for people, but you also don't know if they're going to work sometimes, which is also scary.
And it's
I've
also-
never,
yeah.
I'm like, have I got, oh yeah. I did try out for, I'm like, should I say that?
You're in it now. The publicist is out the room.
I
You're
know.
alone with
I
me,
know.
Elle.
What I don't like about this story, I'm not going to say what it was
Okay.
because I
Okay.
don't like but I didn't get a part once for something big.
Okay.
Because and hey, it might not have just been this reason, but this was the feedback that I heard was because I didn't have enough Instagram followers at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that was a little like, okay, I firmly don't believe in not
that's
getting a
gross.
part.
Yeah.
But and it was for one of like a bigger thing, like
yeah.
a franchisey thing. But yeah, hey, I would not say no to those things,
Yeah.
but I would have to like have a meeting and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, really talk and see what it is. And, but yeah, I've never I didn't have to go through what Nick did where like doing all that stuff. I think they
Get in
make
the
them like
costume,
try
do
the
whole
suit
thing.
on.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yes, but yeah, I
No, but-
wouldn't say no, but I don't think you need it. But I do think you need a balance.
Yes.
Because if you want to do your indie work, especially in producing now, I realize, well, there are scripts that I want to take a chance on and produce and they're small, but then, you have to know maybe it's about the experience and everything, it is about the experience, but then okay, you need something that has if you have the backing of knowing that you have that thing, it does
releases
make you
to-
breathe better.
yes, I
It
get it.
does.
I
It
get
just
it.
does.
So we mentioned the producing a couple times. You and Dakota have a production company
Yeah,
now.
we do. Yeah.
Are your sensibilities totally in lockstep? Every human being has who's more subversive, who's like more are you always on the same page?
We are pretty much on the same page, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do, but we can like convince each other.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty like diplomatic. We are a good team because I'm more cynical about things. I don't think people would. I'm a bit more of a snob.
Yeah.
And she kind of has to ground me a little bit, and then I'm like, oh God, you're
practicality of it a
right.
little-
Yes.
Yeah.
That is okay. Maybe right. Yeah. I don't know. But we agree. We are good because with that, yeah.
You guys are always asked, and I remember
Yeah.
talking to Dakota, right? I think as the pandemic was just starting, because
Yeah.
you guys were about to shoot.
Yes.
Finally,
I know.
we're getting the Fanning sisters together.
I know.
And it fell apart
epic.
for
COVID.
For COVID.
Yes.
And it sounds like that's not the one potentially at this point. But
Yeah.
are you eyeing? Do you have the project in mind now, or is it sort of like when it comes, it comes?
There is actually. Well, okay. The Nightingale.
Still might. Okay. Might come back around.
I think coming back around. So, and I think we both would want that to be the one.
Okay.
Honestly, we do. The script is so good. The book is so beloved. Like it's that I'm hoping that does work. But there are also, what's so funny, which it's like, when everything you're filming, like Teen Spirit, when I did that film,
Yeah.
like Vox Lux came out and Star is Born, like it was all and you're like, but we didn't even know they were filming that. There's
something in the air.
There's
Yep.
something in the air
Yeah.
where like all the creatives have the one idea at the same time. And I feel like now people are like a sister thing, like lots of sister things are coming to us. And we're like, okay,
really?
we can't just work together now in everything. Like now it's like, we're like, where were
Make
you?
one, and then you can like face that problem.
Yes, but we also did think it kind of might be really fun to do like different sister stories.
Yeah.
Always.
Do an anthology of
I know, but we
Fanning
have to do
sisters.
like the first one first.
Right.
Yeah, but there are other things. Yeah, we have like actually a really good idea for something, but we haven't told that. Yeah,
Okay,
Tony should do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Video game universe.
Yes.
Tell me about Death Stranding. I'm not a gamer, but I know people are obsessed with
Yes.
Hideo Kojima.
Yes.
So what is your participation? Is that mocap or what?
It is mocap.
How was the experience?
I worked with all the same people from Avatar, all those guys in. It wasn't the same studio, but it was one of them, like in LA.
Yeah.
I had never done it before, and I was like, they had to really like kind of walk me through, and I did it, with Leia Seydoux, who's she's in it, and Norman Reedus is the main guy, but also you're all there together, like and I think when I signed up for it, I wasn't sure what it would entail. Like I didn't know that it would be true acting and scenes and stuff.
Right.
I don't know.
You're going to be in a VO booth and like
yes, which there is a bit of that, but there was like there's like emotional scenes in it, and I'm like, and Hideo's there, and he's like, okay, now you cry, and you're like, oh my god. Okay, so like I have to like get in the mood, but in the whole suit. I mean, it is because I'm someone that
tactile needs
a little bit. Yeah. Like I mean, it definitely helps, but you can, Maleficent, there was like a lot of green screen and stuff. I remember, oh my God, this is funny. There's like a scene in Maleficent where she turns to dust, like in my hands, like my mom,
right. As it happens
in the scene. And it's very emotional. I was like hysterically, crying, like, but Angelina was there on the day and we did the whole thing. And then Disney, some people came to me and said, okay, so we know you, and it was like, I was like, I knocked it out of the park. It was like hysterical. Like for the
you
scene.
see what Elle did today?
Yeah. It was like when you get a clap, one
slow
of
clap after,
yeah. And then Disney came and they were like, it was so wonderful, but we wanted to add a line, and so we were and Angelina was not there at the moment, and so they were like, so we want to, we need to do the whole scene again, and I told them no.
You're like, I can't do better than what I
know.
just gave
Well,
you.
it wasn't even like I could, but I just felt like I also felt like, but there's voiceover.
Yeah.
You can add it, you know, and
Yeah.
they actually, we really talked about it and everything. And it wasn't like, oh no, it was just like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, like, you know, I don't,
Well, this is a good example
was-
of like someone that knows.
yeah. And maybe, and it also took a lot of, I remember that day because it took a lot. I was like, I didn't want to say no, you know, you want to make them happy. And, but yeah, we came to like an agreement and we actually worked it out. But then I also realized, oh yeah, maybe I know like filmmaking. It's like, you don't have to. I was like kind of walking through. I was like, but I was here and there.
Yeah, totally. No, this is
know.
valuable for an
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
So have you seen what you look like in the game? Like, is that a trip to see?
I have. Yes, I have seen. But I mean, you know, like the game is, you look like, you know,
Yeah.
it's me, but he does, you know, you look cool.
Are you a gamer at all? Is this kind of totally fun?
I'm not a gamer, and he knows that. But I definitely will play. He sent me a PS3.
Hey, there's a perk.
I know, and like all my gamer friends, like they're like freaking out. This is the best thing I've ever done in their eyes, you know.
Elle finally made it.
Instagram and comments, I'd never experienced.
No, it's
that.
fervent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you have good taste. What are you watching? What are you watching? Movies, TV? What are you obsessed with lately?
I finished Beef.
Oh, Beef's great.
Yeah,
right?
Beef is.
I was totally into that.
I was sold on the concept. Like someone told me what that concept was. I was
Yep.
like, that is genius idea. I love that. So I really enjoyed Beef. I'm watching Succession. I'm not up to date.
Okay.
Because of the Met. I didn't watch it on Sunday, on Monday. So yeah, I haven't, but I do watch.
Filmmakers you're obsessed with lately. You talk about
my
like
God.
chasing projects in a good way, like making it happen. Who are you
Yes.
dying to work with right now?
That's true. I want to work with PTA.
Come on.
I know. I know. I was like, licorice pizza. I was like, I'll be back on it. I'll do anything. I was
Yeah, you fit in that milieu. That was a lost opportunity.
like, no, I mean, but it made like,
Okay.
no, but it made sense. But I was like, yeah, please. But again, like I'm like seeing, Ruben Ostlund, I want to work with.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get on that plane.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anyone like something like?
Because he's doing an airplane
Yeah,
movie. Yeah.
yeah.
I love that he tells you what it is.
I know he's amazing.
I know.
When Dakota booked something like Quentin, when Once Upon a Time
Yes.
happens, that must be like.
I know. That was.
Do you visit set? Do you like or no? That's not
What was
cool.
that? I think I was filming The Great actually, so I couldn't.
Okay.
Also, there are some moments when we both respect each other's
Let her have that experience.
experience, and it's
Yes.
like that's
Amazing.
a you thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We mentioned, we haven't really talked about Somewhere, but I do want to mention like Sofia is obviously such an important figure in your life. Is this like a kind of person that isn't just about the work? Like, do you keep in contact with Sofia?
I do. We do. She's it was so special. I think like I know I was 11 when I did Somewhere, and that was really that was like really one of my first movies.
Yeah.
You know, I guess like of playing
Well,
just a
someone in the front and
prominent
center. Yeah, exactly.
prominent
Yes.
role, and
A lot's on you.
A lot, yeah.
A spare script. It's putting a lot on you as a young performer.
Totally, yeah. And just having Sofia in charge of that, and my first experience being with a woman and seeing her in charge in that way, and just how kind. I mean, she's the most gentle. But we talk about this too, because sometimes she doesn't like it when people describe her that way.
Right.
'Cause she's like, yeah, but I'm, she's tough too.
Yeah. No,
She's
she knows
strong
what
and
she
tough,
wants
and she
and-
knows what she wants, and she's not just even because I think people, because her movies have a very feminine touch,
Right.
and so then they think, oh well, she must be, and I mean she's the kindest person and works with her friends, which that's her advice. She's like, if you ever do something, just hire your friends,
But it's interesting because it's like
But
all
she,
of her films.
Somewhere's about a man.
Yes. Well, they also.
It's not that feminine. I mean, there's a young girl in it, and she understands her existence, but it's not, overly.
I think what people confuse is like her films often have kind of like a dreamy, loose vibe that almost feels like you
Yes.
can mistake for haphazard, like it just happened by accident. When in fact, like she's creating a world in each one.
Oh my, 100%. I mean, on The Beguiled too, I was so floored. I think the cinematography in that movie is so outstanding, and it was all on film. There was not one light. I mean, maybe we had everything was natural light, candle lit. We had a lot of screen tests about the look and the.
Right.
It doesn't just happen. No. And it's really put together like a painting, you know. I think the best movies are, but I think I know I remember asking her one day, like it was on The Beguiled, but I was like, wait, so I was like wearing a purple dress or something. I'm like, I'm wearing purple, and then but the set, like, it goes so well with the dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, yeah. I mean, I knew that, but then I was like, oh yeah, like it struck me that
Cool.
that it was
Good
all
job,
like
director.
obviously planned. I don't know. It's like, yeah, of course, but
Right.
there was just, I don't know. There's something about that. But I mean, acting wise too, she really, you know, she's so like present with her actors,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of rehearsal, and she believes in getting to know each other well and creating those dynamics, and or, you know, keeping people apart. Like there is that. Yeah.
Our time is flying by.
I know. There's so much in it.
Let's do the happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questionnaire for you.
Okay.
Elle, do you collect anything? What do you collect?
I was a big collector when I was a kid. I collected Chevron cars. Do you know those little things?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would go to like all the gas stations, like, and try to get I have a bucket, like I have them still. I collected Care Bears. I have every Care Bear.
Okay.
I collected chicken bones from like chickens, like wishbones.
Wow.
If I won the
Sure.
pull, I would keep them in my purse. We
Right.
had to like throw it out because I was like,
Gonna say.
I was beginning to be like Brittany Murphy in Girl Interrupted, like smelling like chicken.
That's a scary discovery at airport security when they go through the bag.
Yes.
Like, human chicken? What is this?
And I used to do gum wrappers.
Okay.
Which this is becoming like an intervention
Yeah.
here. I don't.
This episode of Hoarders brought to you by Happy, Sad, Confused.
Yes, I get attached to items, but I don't. As of recently, I don't as much.
Okay. What's the wallpaper on your phone?
It is of my dog, late dog, who she passed away. She was our family dog, Llewellyn, who Llewellyn Pictures is named after.
There you go.
Yes.
Very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a movie you're embarrassed to admit you've never seen?
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to think. You know why? Also, because I've probably said in interviews, like, "What's your favorite movies?" And like when I was younger, like this one, like never.
Never trust an actor.
I have seen Godfather films, which,
Okay.
I've never seen Goodfellas.
It's a good one.
I know,
Check it out.
so that's a problem.
Marty's not gonna be
I
happy
know,
with
like,
this.
yikes.
Cross that one off the list. No,
Yeah.
no. What's the worst note a director has ever given you?
Oh. More attitude.
More of what you're doing. Just a
Yeah,
little more.
more attitude, which I didn't know if that meant sassy or I'm like, what?
Can we be more
attitude.
specific? Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but I do like sometimes. I mean, the best notes are like faster, slower.
Right. Very specific.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
very specific.
Practical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, let's name drop for a second. What's a celebrity that when you get a text from them, it blows your mind still to this day? What gets you excited?
I mean, I have a few. Peter Dinklage and I talk all the time. We are still best of friends from
that.
what we did. I think we're alone now together.
Right.
We're
Reed
like,
Moreno, right?
yes, yeah. And also Lowdown, another movie that when we kissed in both of those movies.
What a distinction.
I know. Yeah. But yes, I mean, Peter kind of blows my mind. I mean, I have gotten texts from Angelina Jolie, which is earth shattering.
Do you have code names for people?
like
Do you keep it
incredible.
as the actual name?
I think she's AJ. I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't. Or I'm like very, because it's just really fun to see it pop up.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie.
No,
so spell it out, and that's really fun. Yeah.
In the spirit of Happy, Sad, Confused, what's an actor that makes you happy? They pop up on screen. I'm in a good mood now.
Gosh, okay, a lot. I mean, well, one of the movies that makes me happy, which is so weird. Well, it's not weird because it's an absolutely incredible movie, but people might not think this. I have to stop apologizing. Like, this is who I am. But All the President's Men.
Oh yeah.
That's a
just
nice
satisfying,
watch for
right?
me though. Like I'll put it on all the time. Like that. Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman, like their dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm like, it makes me very happy.
No, I get it. That's like
and they are so good at phone calls in that, which is, I would say, the hardest thing to do
interesting.
in movie wise.
Just selling it, and often you don't have the other actor with you.
I know. There's something about, also you start to get in your head of like, I'm holding a phone, and it's like when you're on the phone, you're so not thinking about what you look like at all when you're on a phone call.
Right.
And there's one moment, I don't know, like Robert, he like flubs the line. He says something wrong. It's so, it makes me so happy. I don't know.
Is it a movie that makes you sad?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of movies make me sad. About Time made me really sad.
That is a good one. Richard Curtis.
Yeah, that made me really sad when the little redheaded boy running on the beach together.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the twit, like I didn't know. So the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
With you on that one.
Yes.
And finally, a food that makes you confused.
Oh, a food. I mean, pickles make me confused.
In any form. Doesn't matter. Just the.
I don't like pickled things.
Yeah.
I mean, pickled onions.
Okay.
I'll do. I just don't like. I'm like, you're a cucumber, but you're not. I don't like cucumbers either. Like,
Right.
I just
I
don't know. And people are obsessed with them.
I don't
Some
mind them
people
on their
are.
own. I don't like it on a sandwich. That ruins the whole damn
Yeah.
experience.
It
for
also
me.
seems like it can be in too many forms. Like, not forms, but it's just like, are you slimy today? Are you crunchy? Like, I will never eat you. I don't want you around.
Get out of my life.
Yeah.
All pickles.
Yes.
They're on notice now, Elle.
Yeah.
This was a breakthrough session. Thank you for finally being on the podcast. Our schedules finally meshed. You're welcome anytime. Let's not make it another 25 years.
I know. Oh, God, seriously. No, we won't.
We won't. But
No,
But I look. This is exciting. This is first 17 years of our relationship done, and we're gonna go on this journey together. I'm gonna check in with you, and I love that. Congratulations, The Great is one of the smartest, coolest shows out there. People check it out on Hulu, and stay out of the way of pickles. I don't know.
I know. Yeah. I was like, when I was coming into this, I'm just like, you're the best interviewer ever. Because you always ask, I don't know, I feel everyone feels comfortable, and you always ask like unique questions. Like, I love you.
Okay, we have to turn this off now. Too much. No, thanks, truly, for doing it.
Thank you.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pressured to do this by Josh.